Hi, I'm Dr. Kathleen Hallinan, and we're continuing with our weight loss vlog. Today we're going to go over two things. We're going to discuss a medication that's used called Contrave for weight loss, and we're going to go over the strategies you need to know about to keep yourself from regaining the weight that you've lost. So let's go over the Contrave first. Contrave is a medication that is a good alternative for people who cannot use Phentermine. So some people have problems with heart rhythms or blood pressure that really can't be overcome, and you want to use a medication that does not have heart effects or cardiac effects. So Contrave is a combination of two other medications. It is a combination of bupropion, which you may also know as Wellbutrin, and something called naltrexone, which blocks opioid receptors in your brain. And you might think, well, what does that have to do with me having problems with my weight? And the reasoning is that these receptors have a lot to do in kind of a gratification response. And so, as we all know, food is very addicting. And so blocking these receptors can tend to blunt the gratification response that often people get from eating a lot of carbs. They feel good, they crave the carbs, they want more carbs. So, but there are some things that you have to watch out for with this medication. Very important, again, that you discuss all of this with your physician or provider, that Contrave is a medication that has some drug interactions and side effects. The issues with naltrexone are that you certainly cannot be on any opioid medications or even something like a tramadol, which goes under the name of Ultram, when you take it, because you can run into problems with both acute withdrawal as well as problems of being more susceptible to overdose. So you really need to be careful, because with all of the opioid medications that are out there, including, I hate to say this, but if anybody is using any illicit things like heroin, you really don't want to get yourself in trouble with this one. And so you want to watch that as a risk factor, as a drug interaction. Bupropion is a very nice antidepressant that does generally increase motivation and increase mood. That's the first medication of the two in this drug. But you probably want to know about it so that if you're on also another antidepressant, you don't kind of take two antidepressants together if your physician doesn't think that that's a good idea. So it's a very good alternative. It's dosed in increments over 4 weeks. The first week you take one tablet once a day. The next week it's one tablet twice a day. The third week you take 2 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon. And the fourth week you take 2 in the morning, 2 at night. And that usually is the steady state dose, although there is some dose adjusting that needs to take place if you have any liver or kidney slowing problems. So it's a very good medication to take or to try as an alternative if you are not a candidate for Phentermine. So that's something to talk to your provider about. And then the other thing we're going to go over is strategies for as you guys are losing weight. So hopefully everybody's kind of doing some exercise, dropping their calorie intake. And I want to warn you about this mental strategy of, well, I'm going to go on this, and then when I get to where I need to be, I can go off it. No, don't think that way. That's a really hard way to think, because once you get your weight down, if you kind of go back to what got you there in the first place, you'll be one of the 80% of people who then roller coasters it with their weight and goes up and down and up and down. And usually each time you go up higher than you were the last time. And I hate to tell you this, but from a physics and a chemistry standpoint, your body will always protect the highest weight that you get to. So you always will have to overcome a drive or a tendency within your physical self to get back to the highest weight you're at. Now, the good news is that that amount of calorie deficit can usually be overcome by exercising once a day, about 30 to 40 minutes. So it is very doable, but you must remember that you have to really already have the mindset that this is a lifestyle change. This is not going on a diet, because what you go on, you'll go off, I promise you. And if you were to look at what I eat on a daily basis, you'd say, are you on a diet? So because I have my little, I have very specific things that I eat: breakfast, lunch, dinner, and small portions. I watch my calories. So here's my board again, guys. So, okay. So there is something called the National Weight Loss Registry, which is where they keep track of behavioral characteristics of people who have been successful in keeping weight off. And one of the first things these people do is they weigh themselves every single day. They weigh themselves every day. So This will not make you anorexic. It will not cause a problem with how you think about food. That used to be the concern that would make everybody kind of over concerned with their weight. No, that's not the case. It's very good if you weigh yourself every day, then you set your mindset. It's called priming. You set the thinking for the day and how your calorie intake should be. So weigh yourself once a day, very important. The second thing is exercise, 30 to 40 minutes a day if you can. And when I say exercise, my definition of exercise is something that makes you so sweaty and disgusting that you would need a shower before you go to Walmart. So that's exercise. Taking a walk, while it's very good, and if that's all you can do, great. Then do that and incorporate maybe some hand weights with it or something. But if you can, you want to exercise to the extent that you are kind of sweaty and disgusting. That's exercise. Okay? So, and then third thing, count your intake. Don't slack off on this. People, I mean, you'll have some bad days and you'll have some, maybe you go on a vacation and whatever. But once you get past that, keep counting your intake. Don't lose track. If you just kind of think, well, I'm good, then I promise you'll find yourself going back to whatever kind of got you here in the first place. So keep counting your intake. And the last thing is don't go back. Don't go back to what got you here in the first place. Keep in mind, this is a lifestyle change. You have to eat as you were engineered to eat, which is small portions, small calories, water, and a decent amount of effort to get that amount of food. So remember, you were engineered to subsist or to live on what you could hunt, gather, or kill. That's a lot of energy expenditure for not a lot of calories. So keep that in mind. Again, ask your physician. If phentermine was not an option, maybe Contrave is an option. And we'll keep going over some other things next time. I hope you guys are doing great. I'm getting some interesting questions. Feel free to communicate back through the YouTube thing. Usually I will check on it and try to answer questions if I can. So keep going, guys. You're doing great. And keep spreading the word. Keep sharing if you can so that anybody that you know who might benefit from any of these videos will do well. All right.